Good morning. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Today we have Theo back in the channel. Hello, my friend.
Hello. Missed
So good to.
everybody. Glad to be back.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you're back, girl, because we missed you and we have a lot of ground to cover because true crime never stops. So, as by the title of the video you might have seen, Ann Taylor of the Bryan Kohlberger case, his attorney, has been busy. She wrote a 40-page document to the court about a continuance that she wants on this case. But do not worry, we are not going to go through the 40 pages. We have done a summary of it, and we're going to show you a summary of it, isn't it? Because it's easier than read 40 pages.
Well, it saves your voice anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Well, not really my voice, but yours, because I don't like reading documents because, English is not my first language. But anyway, um, so basically what she wants a continuous on this case. As probably everyone is aware, this case is due to go to court to trial to start in August 2025, with the jury selection starting at the end of July. It's a capital murder case, and she is arguing that the proceeding as planned would violate Bryan Kohlberger's constitutional rights to the insufficient time for preparation. Is she really real, like real right there? This
Is
thing
this
happened
real
in
life?
is this real life or is this fantasy? Because this thing happened in 2022. So I know because
Arrested
I
in December of 2022, and then waived his right to speedy trial, which is was in the August of 2023, and now it was scheduled to start in August of 2025. So that's already 2 years and a change of venue later.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and now she wants to delay even more because she's not prepared. Girl, you've had time to prepare. Um,
Okay,
so
so but let's be fair. Let's be fair. I have seen a Dateline interview most recently with
mm,
new information that wasn't supposed to come out, being as the case is under
yeah,
gag order, right?
yeah,
And then we've seen documents come out as early as a month or two ago that had new cell phone data, new text messages that were released, and then the 911 call has come out. So there are things that we can see on the surface that need to be reanalyzed, right? And
yeah.
so,
But
what's under the surface?
she should kind of already know about those, though.
You would
You
assume
know,
so, right? But I think,
you would
just
assume
like
so.
in every other case that we've seen, where people will get up there and argue, well, discovery, during discovery, this was not disclosed, or A wasn't disclosed, Z wasn't disclosed, C wasn't disclosed. So maybe that's a possibility. I don't know. I didn't watch the hearing, so go ahead and
I
continue. Tell me
watch
what happened.
Yeah, I watched in part the hearing because I was on my way to a local vacation anyway. But she was arguing that there was not she got sprung by that dateline. Someone leaked information that shouldn't. Yes, there is an investigation that the court is doing and going on on that. Yes, that might set the case back, but she wants this for that reason. And the reasons, like for example, one of that, she wants, because it's an unconstitutional conviction and sentence of Bryan could be overturned, so she needs more time. Apparently she has alternative suspect that is going to be heard by the judge in a closed hearing pretty soon. And then the judge is going to rule on that, so it's just.
They had a closed hearing that we were not. I mean, we were privy to the fact they were going to have one, but we
But
still don't know the information. It was sealed then.
yes, yeah.
Gotcha.
It was still, and I know, I think the hearing is still to happen. It's gonna happen early June.
Oh,
So it
it's
still
pending.
hasn't happened, and it's about a possible suspect that apparently Ann Taylor is supposed to present alternative suspects for this case. And then based on that, the judge will make a decision. But it's very, very low chances. But she wants, like, she has several keys that she mentions during this 40-page document that she just posted. She has several grounds for continuances. It's not just one that she's going after. She literally is going after every single thing. Probably we
So
can, yeah,
you're good. So May 21st, is that today? That was yesterday.
yeah.
So it says that Wednesday that the attorneys met with Hippler for a closed door hearing, and so it was a remote only hearing.
Oh,
There was
yeah.
no public access to it. So they did have a little discussion regarding the role of the victims. It says online, but
Yes.
that's about it. Where we can see what it was about. Other than that, it's wow,
Yeah,
wow.
exactly. Yeah. But there's another one coming up, and I don't know. I think he said the date, but it's going to be a closed hearing anyway. That about the present of alternative suspects in the case. Um, I forgot when it was actually done, but it's, yeah, it is crazy, because she had to file. It's interesting. She had this 40-page, right, thing filed, because she had to put a motion to exceed the page limit, and then that was ordered, and then she filed this motion,
Right.
which is interesting that the judge doesn't like long things, and he even said throughout that last hearing that we were able to see that the openings statements are not going to be crazy long, because I know Ann Taylor could have gone um forever into that. Like, literally, she could talk for England. We have
Hey,
over an explanation that if you talk a lot, you can talk for England.
I
uh,
yeah, I was gonna say I'm long winded, so I totally get it.
yeah, but anyway, we are also talking a lot, and we haven't gotten into the document. But anyway, okay. And the first part that she goes on, it's that she says that as a capital defendant, a capital murder case, Brian Kohlberger has enhanced rights under the Fifth, Sixth, and Eighth and 14th Amendment, which they are the right of due process, fair trial, effective counsel, and individualized sentencing. So she says that because of that, she needs more time to prepare herself for the case, because it's proceeding too soon will risk an unconstitutional conviction and then a sentence. They say that it's too rushed of them going to trial 3 years almost after the incident. Too rushed. Not trying to be biased, but it's been 3 years on. You have had time. Um, so, and then she goes on to unfinished investigation and case preparation, which that could be the new suspect and whole new situation that happened with the Dateline interview that presented evidence that, well, they probably knew, but probably the public shouldn't have known yet. So they say that she says that the defense team needs more time to review extensive discovery and digital evidence, complete life history investigations, identify and consult necessary expert witnesses. And then she says that discovery from the state has been big, massive, and very delayed, limiting adequate time to review such evidence. What do you think about that? Do you know anything about that here?
I no.
I'm putting on the spot. Sorry.
No, it's okay. So discovery from the state has been voluminous and delayed.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we were talking about. You know how the state always has the obligation to let them know what it is, to put all of
Yeah.
discovery out there. And I think it's been one of those things where it's kind of like been the trickle effect. Oh yeah, I forgot to give you this, or oh yeah, oh by the way, here's this. Oh, and there's this, and then oh look what I just found. And so it's like the trickle effect over and over and over and over again. So in some ways, obviously, we have uh, the the right of innocence until proven guilt, right, in the United
Yeah.
States, and should be in every part of the world, right? It's not, but we're lucky here. He's innocent until proven guilty, no matter whether the public has already convicted him or otherwise. So her thought process is that as this trickles in, she has to give him effective counsel where everything that they've worked so long for over the last couple of years can be completely thrown out into the trash. So in some ways, I understand and I can respect that. I do also feel like, I mean, you're dragging your feet.
Yeah.
Let's get it done. You know, it's these kids are dead. They're gone. You know, their families need closure. They need to heal.
Yeah, there needs to be justice in some kind
And
for this people. Yeah.
and if it's not Bryan, then who is it? And if you know who it is, then let's get that done. So again, like I said, the families can have some closure, and we're
Yeah.
not sitting out here sitting on our hands waiting for the next best, thing. It's not. We don't have the. Obviously, I guess they don't have the smoking gun that they think they do, and so they're considering other suspects at this point. We're a couple years in. Like, what are we doing here?
Well, but I'm sure they did that at the time of the investigation. You know,
I don't think
obviously it was.
so. You think they did? I mean, from everything that you've seen on the evidence, do you think they ever considered anybody else besides Bryan?
Well, I think they did because if they did an investigation into the case, they did not see Brian's name and then jumped into the gun. Well, I hope, I don't know. We haven't heard the case. That's the thing. I think even if they have a possible other suspect, which I'm not saying they don't, I think the judge is still going to allow this to go to trial, and then it's going to be Ann Taylor's job to prove that Brian didn't do.
And then the life history investigations. I'm not sure where she's coming out with that. I That's something
I
I'd
think
have to.
she's talking about the DNA
Right.
that
Well,
was found, and the police used the database. That's not what they normally use. They use another one.
they use
To
they use life history
Yeah,
investigations for presenting mitigating factors. The council, like, they collect and they analyze all the records related to their client's medical records, their education, their family history. They interview the families, the friends, all of the professionals that were with them, everybody
hmm
that has relevant information to him. And then they have to identify red flags that indicate potential mitigating circumstances. So that's why life history investigation takes so long. But I'm not sure where
yeah,
she's going with that, like why they hadn't already collected the extensive records and the interviews and to create their cohesive narrative way
yeah.
back already. So I don't know.
True. So the next point that she goes over, it's that the death penalty standards that she thinks it's not correct. So she says that a capital case requires a more rigorous and time consuming investigation than standard trials, which it is true because it is a very high standard of what can happen out of the trial. It says that the trial must prepare both a merits defense and in a mitigation case if he is convicted, and they need to be ready for both just in case that happens. And then the council cites the guidelines and case law, emphasizing that throughout life history and mental health analysis. So she goes back to the case that Bryan Kohlberger has mental issues, about the autism spectrum that she says he's in, and has proofs of such, and says that that death penalty should not be applied to him because of that. So that
Well,
is,
miss me
mm,
with that, but that's. So almost 2/3 of death penalty cases in the United States are eventually overturned.
yeah.
Okay. A lot of that is because there is a lack of exhaustive investigation and presentation of the mitigating evidence.
And I think that's why some states they say they don't require the fully panel of the jurors anymore to agree on the death penalty. Only a majority of them can count. I think that's Florida that has that uh, situation ongoing. That only a
Right,
majority of the juries on a death penalty case have can sentence someone to death.
right, right.
So obviously, I know this is Idaho. I don't remember what happened with Chad Daybell's case. I don't know if it was a unanimous across the board or if it was a majority as well. But I guess we can investigate that.
Well,
And
he was
then,
found guilty on all three counts of murder and three counts of conspiracy. But as far as the jury is concerned, I don't know how many
yeah,
were on one side or the other. So that is definitely something we can look into.
Yeah, exactly. So because it's the same state, I mean, both of these cases, Chad Daybell and Bryan Kohlberger. So yeah, and then
Might be
so
helpful
next,
to see.
yeah, it would, because that would give us kind of like an idea of what exactly we are getting into in terms of the death penalty, um, into this case. So, um, and the next point that she goes, it's that the inflammatory media coverage. Obviously, now Anna Taylor is touching here on the Dateline NBC special, and apparently a book that is gonna come out. I've never heard about anything about a book, but I've heard and I've seen Dateline episode that she says that my prejudice the jury pool, which is true. I mean, Dateline is a very big TV. No, it's not a TV show program that a lot of people watch. I don't think it's gonna influence. I think it might make harder to find a juror, but it's definitely um gonna make things harder for it, because obviously, and after the
So,
hearing. Yeah,
uh,
sorry, you go. What's
no,
up?
you're fine. It's just you mentioned book. So the Dateline special
Yeah,
aired weeks before the trial date will
yeah.
not even be the last pretrial media bombshell. Best-selling crime author James Patterson has written a
Ooh.
book about the murders titled The Idaho Four, An American Tragedy. It's scheduled to release on July the 14th of 2025, just 16 days before the jury selection was slated to begin. It's already on Amazon. You can pre-buy the book, and the blurb for the book is described as a brilliant grad student, a loner, a parent incel, and explicitly tells the reader, now you are the jury. The evidence is
Oh,
in. Unmatched access to the investigation, including interviews with local law enforcement, and it suggests that the apparent Dateline leak was not the only violation of the court's non dissemination order. They might have screwed up, to a certain degree.
yeah.
I mean, the man deserves a freaking
Yeah,
fair
everyone deserves they
trial.
have, yeah, a fair trial and everything, but that book coming out
Yeah, I
days
mean, this could end
before.
up in the hands of jurors 2 weeks before Dyer
Oh
begins.
yeah, I'm sure it's probably gonna end up. I am 100% guarantee you there. But the thing is, the jury selection is gonna start at I think is at the end of the of July. So definitely that can be an issue, and then that can cause a
And,
massive issue for finding a jury
and the people
for the
that are
case.
disseminating evidence or
Yeah,
disclosing things that they shouldn't, which means
because he
depending
says
on
that
what they
after.
found.
Yeah, because he says James Patterson or their team or whatever interviewed 300 people.
Yeah.
More than 300 interviews were made for that book. So, and I remember when hearing either Ann Taylor or the prosecutor saying that they have about 300 to 400 witnesses.
That's crazy.
So that is absolutely crazy. And then that can be definitely either delay or make it harder? Or do you think there's a possibility to change to a bench trial at all? At all?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what the prerequisites are. I'd have to look up and see what that is.
Yeah,
Because
but
yeah,
that could be like, where are they gonna move this trial next?
right.
If they are worried about attempting of the jury, are you gonna move it to what? Bosnia?
Yeah.
Probably they haven't heard there. I don't know.
Oh gosh.
Because it is crazy. Uh, but yeah, because it's rushing.
I mean, the only way that they could, like, because the judge can't unilaterally change it, a criminal case, to a bench trial
Yeah,
unless the defendant agrees. So the judge has already ruled on several motions related to the evidence on the death penalty, but a bench trial wasn't requested or granted. So they would literally have to have Bryan Kohlberger say, okay, I'm going
yeah.
to waive the
Oh,
jury trial
Right. So yeah, so it has to be the defendant asking for bench trial then, or can a judge just decide?
Well, so he can't unilaterally, just on his side, change the criminal case to a bench trial unless the defendant agrees to waive.
Mm.
They already ordered the change of venue, so the media coverage was like really extensive, and that's why they moved it so that it wouldn't have to facilitate a bench trial to begin with.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah,
Hmm. That is rather interesting. I don't know. It's just a lot, and obviously this is going to be a lot of ink. But I think the state actually needs to respond because they on the document of that and Taylor has put after the hearing of the of Thursday last Thursday that the state has 7 days, or the court ordered that the state has 7 days to submit an answer um within, like, to submit to the court in camera or something, a list of all the individuals in the within the law enforcement and prosecuting agency, either past or present, that are known to have access to the any facts related to the investigation of Dateline. So because of the suspect vehicle one, so either today or tomorrow we might have new documents dropping in the document in this case about that. So
right.
we shall see.
So, and then Dateline is obviously it's speculative narrative.
Yeah, it
They're
is.
talking about the
So,
motive and speculative guilt. It's like emotionally manipulating, obviously, and I
oh
think she even
yeah,
mentions
exactly,
that in the document.
and that's why it can be tainting the jury pool for that, because people can have their own, perceive in opinions on that, and that's why it's going to make it more difficult to find uh the jury
Right,
in that case.
absolutely, absolutely. It almost makes you wonder if it was intentional.
Well, I don't know, because there is several cases, and a case that we covered in this channel, in my channel, the Nicole Rice case, the Anna, oh, I forgot her name, but she got found not guilty, and she had a whole episode
Oh,
on
Anita
and it,
something,
yeah, Anita something,
Knutson,
sorry,
Newtson.
it's Knutson, yes, Knutson. um and that Dateline had a whole episode on that, and it led to her arrest and her trial and everything, and she got found not guilty,
Jeez.
which probably a lot of people do not agree with that. But um true that the crime was done in 2007, and only in 2022 or whatever she got arrested, but it's been
She
so.
was just acquitted in March of this year, right? Like 2 months
Yeah,
ago.
like literally 2 months ago she was just acquitted of that crime, even though that throughout all of the episode they had reasons, and they had very good storyline, and they almost literally proved that she did it, but the jury thinks not. So
Wow.
so it's just to show that obviously they can get things wrong. We don't know if in fact they got it wrong or not. We'll never know, because Nicole's probably she's never
Well,
gonna come
her
out saying I
original
did it.
attorney resigned, right? Like the original attorney that she had.
I
JP.
think so, not sure, not 100% sure on that, but it just shows that things can, shows can give you a perspective that can be incorrect. We don't know about this Bryan Kohlberger or not, until we hear in trial the evidence there is, and then the jury and ourselves can make our own decision. But if they
I
keep
agree with that.
if they keep delaying it, it's gonna make it harder, and they need to prove that he didn't do it. And I mean, yes, the Bryan Kohlberger's alibi, it's weird. Who's driving at 4 o'clock in the morning around like a crazy maniac? There is, the cameras and everything that Dateline showed and everything. But we need a trial. I think I'm gonna wait until the trial to give my opinion in terms of guiltiness or not guilty,
Oh, I agree with that. Absolutely.
because I don't know. There's a lot of things, and we haven't heard both sides. I don't know what possible explanation the defense did. So the defense has for it. So anyway, um the the defense says also in that document, and Taylor says that they are conducting a multi-generational investigation into Kohlberger's life, including like family trauma, education, mental health, all of that. They have experts in psychology, neurology, childhood trauma, blah blah. They cannot be identified or retained until that investigation is further along. That's why she needs more time, because apparently they are behind schedule, of course. Um, so that's literally,
TikTok, TikTok. Let's go.
I I know, it's like I don't know about his guiltiness, but I want this trial to be over and done with, so the families can have some rest. They can have some peace and grieve their
Yeah,
loved
regardless
ones.
of the outcome,
Yeah.
there are four, you know, dead
So
young college students, and
yeah.
somebody did it. Somebody somewhere did it. So
So
let's
basically
get
what
there.
Anne yeah, so basically what Anne Taylor wants is wants the court to vacate the August 2025 trial date and grant an additional time for more a constitutional mandated preparation for the trial of Brian Kohlberger. We'll see what the judge decide in terms of this. What do you think? Do you think Judge Hippler is gonna grant, deny?
I do. I think he'll grant it. I mean, based on just especially with the Dateline stuff, the book
Yeah.
stuff,
Uh,
all the prejudicial things coming out where a jury could be tainted. Absolutely, as well he should. You know, the guy deserves a good defense, regardless of what everybody thinks about him. You know, them putting the word incel in all of this stuff like has nothing. I mean, I don't want to say it
yeah.
doesn't have anything to do with the case, but it's just like, we automatically assume he's this, or automatically assume he's that, automatically assume he couldn't pull a woman, and I've
Yeah.
heard all over the place that he definitely had girlfriends and he was able to talk to women. So yeah, I think that you don't want them to fail to adequately investigate or present their mitigating evidence for their defendant and have it overturned, and us to do this again for another 4 years. So
Yeah.
that's where I'm at with it. I'm also going to reserve my judgment. You
Yeah.
know, good luck. May the best man prove their case.
Yeah, exactly. But to be fair, like I know that the Dateline thing probably put a spin in the works and is gonna make things harder for for the trial to come, and it might even delay it. The not just that, and also that book, but this family need closure, and even Brian needs closure, because I'm sure it's not easy for him being sat in jail, not knowing what's happening and what is going to be his life.
Well,
Um,
and it's hard not to judge. It's like if he did this, I could give a shit less what he's doing in jail. But if he
well,
didn't
yeah,
do
but
this, like they have
exactly.
probable cause to have him there. But if he
Well, they
didn't
do
do
have,
this,
yeah.
then
Obviously, they're not just holding him because, um, but it's just the instability that brings for the families. I think more than Brian Kohlberg is having a paid vacation. Um, not probably it's not the best vacation anyway, but yeah.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, I
You
understand.
get what you mean, and I think people get you mean. But let us know what you think about it in the comments. We'll keep updating on this case if anything new happens in the next coming days with more documents or more information. So make sure you subscribe to both of the channels. Zio's link is going to be in the description, and if you are on Zio's channel, my link will be in the description as well, vice versa. So make sure you keep updated with with this case. We'll be following it on both channels, I guess.
Thanks for letting me hang out.
So, Anna, thanks for doing it. I'll see you soon. Bye.
And I'm a real time crime professional.